Welcome back to Speaking of, and our special edition of Dares. Not really special, but Dares.
I was going to say, I thought we were just doing
Jared's
a regular
going to tell us
edition.
about a dare.
So, this was a dare, and it coincided with a study in sociology by a professor that was teaching and asked me to participate. So what this was her sociology class was going to go to the mall
Okay.
and observe some behaviors of humans and see how observant we as human beings are.
Right.
So my assignment, and it did really start as a dare. She dared me first. She's like, you won't do this. You won't participate. And I'm like, watch me.
Yeah.
And it's weird what I accept as dares, because sometimes I won't have anything to do with it. I'll be like, you know.
That's not enough of a challenge.
Yeah, that's not
for me.
enough of a challenge. I'm not going to bother. I'm not 12 anymore.
Really?
On the inside. So, my assignment was I was to take 3 different female students.
Oh, I remember this.
To the jeweler.
Yeah, why wasn't I one of them?
And
Fun.
I think you had a scheduling conflict, because I do
you're
want
right,
to say
'cause
that
we
you
talked
were
about it.
invited. Yes. So I had to take 3 different women to the same jewelry store and look at engagement rings and see if anyone noticed that I was with a different woman. So the first time, and you know, when you're looking at engagement rings, you tell the jeweler, you know,
Your story.
your story, and you're looking, and so they understand that you're going to go from store to store or whatever. So the first time, of course, came and went without incident.
Right.
Like nothing, you know, easy, cheesy, done in a heartbeat.
Cheesy.
The second one, with the same jeweler,
And hey, wait, how far apart were these visits?
30 minutes. Because I do remember they were incremented that, you know, they wanted to see.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. Realistically, let's say that this was real. Because I'm not saying that this would never happen in real life.
Right.
You take the girl ring shopping, and then I gotta drop you off. And then I gotta go pick someone else up, and then in 30 minutes I'm dropping you off.
It was just to see the attention span of a human being, to see if they would look and recognize between customers.
All right.
That was the purpose of it. It wasn't
And you're sure
to see how much of a cad I could be and to see how well I could do it.
Because we already know the answer to those questions. Anyway.
So the second girl comes, and we go and we sit down, and you can see on his face,
He recognizes you.
he recognizes me. And, like, I didn't bring wardrobe changes, nothing. I'm still in the same clothes. But he never actually says, like, he's uncomfortable, and he's giving me the eye, and he's giving us the rings, and, you know, the girl's like, oh, this is wonderful. And it would be
I wish I
hilarious,
could do
because he's handing her the rings, and he's totally giving me out of the corner of his eye. Like, what is your deal? So doesn't ever actually say anything. So that one's finished. Another 30 minutes goes by.
30, yeah.
The professor, she wants in. She's like, I'm going to be your last one so that I can say, you know, that I've done this and blah, 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 blah. So she goes in. We sit down. The guy says, haven't you been in here today already before?
Busted!
My friend doesn't miss a beat. You've been in here with other women today?
See, now, if he had said, haven't you been in here already today, I would have assumed, oh, did you come and, like,
Right.
preview and scope the place out? I would not have immediately assumed that you'd been there with other women. So, what does that say about you? That the first thing she jumps to is...
No, but see, this was, and she did it with the intention of wanting to see
Well, of course.
if he would say, you know, and so I'm like, and so then she did say, because she wanted to clarify, have you been in here with other women? And the guy clears his throat.
So,
As if I'm going to lie.
here's what's great about this, though. You know, you'd think that he's clearly a nice guy because he's not thinking of himself and 3 separate sales.
No, he was at this point thinking that I
Jackpot.
was a jerk.
Well,
That's neither here nor there.
Wow.
So yes, so that is my great dare story. But to be honest, I feel kind of bad. Like, I felt we should have gone in. We never clarified with the man. We just left.
The
We
poor
never.
guy.
No, I do. I feel bad about that still to this day that we never went in and said this was part of the study.
Anytime you do a practical joke, they always tell them at the end.
No, we just kind of left him.
I hope that keeps you
wondering.
up at night. Maybe he'll watch this and he'll finally understand.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of engagement rings.
Oh, no.
Remember the time that you and I were hanging out at Barnes & Noble? And we're just visiting casually like we do.
Oh, I do remember this time.
And this gentleman comes over to us and just starts making conversation. And he says... So then he whips out...
And this was really strange, too. You've got to say, like, we were heavily engaged in conversation. Yes. Like, he came up and it was...
Yeah, we were... we were pretty animated. It wasn't like we were...
Yeah.
We were animated and laughing and...
Because as if you couldn't tell, we're never animated. Yeah.
It's unusual for us. Even when we are...
Yeah.
So he comes over and makes conversation. I don't remember if he introduced himself, but he brings out...
No, he didn't. He just whipped out the briefcase.
Yeah,
that was the scary part.
He brings out this briefcase, and both of us are like,
oh!
Who are you and what homemade bomb are you about to show us? We don't want to be witnesses to this.
I thought it was going to be like on Sesame Street. Remember when the salesman...
You want to
buy an X?
Oh, yeah. Would you like to buy an L? Yeah. No. He had a box full of jewelry, of engagement rings, and he thought that we were a couple that he had talked with, that he was going to meet at the Barnes & Noble to look at engagement rings. And so we weren't quite sure how to take that we appeared to be that
well, no,
of
so
couple.
he whipped it... I'm not going to go down that road again because you slipped on the last show with that. So... Or not on the last show.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Look the other episodes, see if you can find it.
Yeah. It's great. Worth your time. Anyway, yeah, I was just amazed that he pulls out these rings and just starts showing with no explanation. So we explained to him, I'm trying to think who said what.
I don't even remember.
I just remember it ended with him apologizing, saying, well, I'm sorry. It just looks like you guys are so in love.
Not so much. Which reminds me of... I'm trying to think now. Remember when we were leaving... We were pulling out of your grandparents' driveway to go to St. George... And I don't remember what your grandpa said.
I do, so I can finish the story. No, you started.
I just did.
Oh, you
try to keep
clearly.
Up.
All right. Well, on that note, you're gonna have to wait till after the break to hear the end of this story.
You're gonna have to figure out what it is.
No, I know what it is.
Okay. We'll see you shortly.
We will.
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
Subscribe and share us with your friends. Be back in a minute.